Ready?
Can we hear the music?
Yeah.
Yeah, once he starts it, then we can. So we'll wait for the interlude. And walk on first verse. Ready, Weston?
Stop, look.
Guys, your special day has gotten here. We'd like to thank everyone here with us also, and by Zoom. Appreciate you joining us here for your special day, your day of marriage, March the 6th. It's sort of say May, that's not a good thing. March 6th. We think about marriage. Marriage really starts a new chapter in life. So there's changes, there's responsibilities. We think back being single, you pretty much go and do as you please. But now things have changed when you get married. You got to consider the other spouse in making decisions concerning pretty much all things. Life is different when you're married, but it is a good thing for those who choose to be married. When we think about marriage, what exactly do we know about it? Well, we know marriage was instituted by Jehovah God. It's one of his many provisions for the happiness and also the lasting benefit for his earthly children. Now, in the Garden of Eden, Jehovah saw the perfect man, Adam. He was missing something. He needed that help. Especially we think about a compliment to fulfill that commission he had to fill the earth and, yes, to subdue it. Now, in Latin, compliment means to make complete, enhances, or make perfect. So we think about that. What would Jehovah do? Well, let's consider the account. That's found in the book of Genesis, chapter 2. And we'll read 21 through 24. Jehovah caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took one of his ribs and then closed up the flesh over its place. And Jehovah God built the rib that he had taken from the man into a woman, and he brought her to the man. Then the man said, "This is at last bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one will be called woman, because from man she was taken. Notice 24. That is why a man will leave his father and his mother, and he will stick to his wife, and they will become one flesh. So we see here in this account, Jehovah brought the man and woman together there, performing the first marriage. Perfect man, a perfect woman. We think about that arrangement. What should we expect from a marriage? If you thought about that, under the thought of man being made in God's image, we know what God is called in the Bible. He's a happy God, and he's a God of love. So we think about a marriage that is honorable, we reflect those same qualities. Marriage of happiness, a marriage of love. But is it easy as that, just saying, I'm going to be happy, I'm in love? Well, what do we need to do to have a loving, happy marriage? Well, we know for marriages to last, God has to be put first in both of your lives, and his advice followed by both mates. In Matthew chapter 22, Jesus told us about the greatest commandment there was. What was that? We must love Jehovah God with our whole heart, our whole mind, and our whole soul. So our showing love for Jehovah would mean then that we would look to him for direction in pretty much all matters of life, making decisions. That's where we want to go. Think of it this way. We've heard this many times. It's in the Bible recorded that marriage is like a twofold cord. Well, both of you being part of that cord, being united, being supportive mutually of each other, showing deep love and deep kindness to each other. But the thought of adding love for God, love for Jehovah into your lives, that is the true strengthening agent that there is that really help your marriage. And we think about his advice. He knows everything there is to know about us. Our physical makeup, our emotional makeup, and yes, our spiritual being too. He knows who we are spiritually. So how do we get that advice? Well, we want to study the Bible together. We want to pray together. And we must worship together too. Doing all these things together. And by doing that, you will truly get closer to each other. And importantly too, you will draw closer to Jehovah God. Well, we think about a husband. Caleb, what would be your responsibilities in this marriage? Well, man is appointed by Jehovah God as the head of the family. And it's easy said, sometimes the Bible, I've encountered that. And, well, you need to talk to her, because she handles all that stuff. They don't place any importance. But as a Christian, we think about how truly important that is. It is vital in balancing everything within the marriage itself. Looking to Jehovah God, that spiritual need. So you'll be setting the tone for the family. And as I mentioned, yes, a family head is a truly heavy and also a very responsible position within the family itself that Jehovah's placed on you. Well, how should you view your headship? Basically treating Caitlin, treating your wife. Well, you would treat her tenderly. Proper Christian headship doesn't permit a man to be a tyrant, always demanding, do it my way. That's not going to happen, right? A husband is to follow the example of Christ Jesus that he left for us to follow there. Let's look in the account found in Ephesians chapter 5. It kind of spells it out there for us. And we'll read verse 25, 28, and 29. 25 says, husbands, continue loving your wives, just as the Christ also loved the congregation and gave himself up for it. In the same way, husbands should love their wives, there in 28, as their own bodies. A man who loves his wife loves himself. For no man ever hated his own body, but he feeds and he cherishes it, just as the Christ does the congregation. Now, we think about those verses there. Jesus, he was willing to give his life, which he did, for his bride, the congregation. He was put himself unselfishly, he put others first. You know, he never thought of himself just about me. He thought of other people. He was mild-tempered. He was a source of refreshment. People wanted to be near him, be close to him. He was that kind of a person. Yes, Christian husbands need to love their wives as their own bodies, so that means that you will take care of all of her needs. They're taken care of. Very important. We know husbands would not be violent, angry with the wife in word or action. That's truly displeasing to our Heavenly Father, but it displeases fathers too, of the bride there. So we need to think about all these things, very important. Something simple as not downgrading. You know, sometimes we've heard people do that, and that's truly, you know, that's really bringing shame on a person themselves when they do that to their wife there. So yes, doing that privately in front of others is truly embarrassing, and that's definitely not displaying that Christ-like attitude there, that personality. Well, Katie, what about you? Well, the Bible shows your role in marriage is a very dignified one that is to be shown honor. It's very important. You know, I thought automatically about the capable wife that's described in Proverbs 31, her attributes that are described there. In verse 10, it said, she was more valuable than that of pearls. Now, you think back to ancient times there, red pearls were so precious. And that is how, you know, you need to be treated. Very precious indeed there. At 1 Peter 3:7, Christian husbands are told to assign them honor. What does that mean? Let's read that. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7. 1 Peter 3:7 says, you husbands, in the same way, continue dwelling with them according to knowledge. Assign them honor as to a weaker vessel, the feminine one, since they are also heirs with you of the undeserved favor of life, in order for your prayers not to be hindered. So we think about husbands, you know, one way that we could show our wives honor is by taking into consideration their opinion on things and their needs too. Very, very important there. You know, we think back to Genesis as a compliment. You know, a wife's not a slave, but yet she's in leadership within the family. There'd be chaos. There'd be problems, be unhappiness. We think about our car sitting up here. They got steering wheels. There's only one driver for that car. But when you're driving that car, the driver is responsible for that car. So again, Jehovah's placing that responsibility on you, Caleb, there to handle these family matters. When we think about deep respect for her husband, that's shown by cooperation. You guys working side by side together and completing a decision that you guys have made there. Look at verse 33. Nevertheless, each one of you must love his wife as he does himself. On the other hand, the wife should have deep respect for her husband. And Caleb, when you make a mistake, and believe it or not, Caleb, you will make a mistake or two, you're not going to criticize him and harp, oh, look at you. No, we're not going to do that. No. You're not going to belittle him, just like he's not going to belittle you there. But you'll be understanding. Yes, a Christian wife is a helper. You're going to work side by side, partners in life itself there, making everything work. You will contribute much to the home itself. You want to make it a happy, pleasant place to be. You know, that's very, very important there. A wife looks to her husband for decisions, and yet she's going to join him in making those decisions, make them succeed. Well, here's the question. How do we cultivate deep love in our marriage? Well, both of you must clothe yourselves with love. That little four-letter word, love. Just as clothing protects the body, love really safeguards this marital arrangement there and protects the marital unity. We think about clothing. We're all dressed up here today. But we look at that wedding dress. It really enhances your beauty. And basically, that same thing, love safeguards, your marriage. It protects the marital unity. And it makes everything, it adds luster. That's the word I'm looking for. It adds luster to your marriage. You'll glow. You both are glowing today here this afternoon. So, you can definitely see how you guys truly care about each other. My encouragement to both of you is, again, always to look for little ways to show love to each other each day. Take the time to talk, to sit down maybe in front of a fire, talk about what you did today, but find time to talk. But, we want to do that daily, sitting and talking, but we need to remember we need to listen to each other, to concerns. You got 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen twice as much to each other, and it will truly be a success there. Make it a habit to show kindness in the little things, such as by tender words, little acts of affection. These are always truly appreciated. If we continue to cultivate, think about cultivating love, it's work. Cultivating is you're working it, and you continue to work at building that bond of love. By doing that and applying Bible principles in your married life, it's going to prove to be a truly united, lasting union there. And it will truly bring praise and honor to Jehovah God, and it will bring honor to yourselves too. Remember what 1 Corinthians 13:8, well, basically how love is described, 13:4 through 8. But verse 8 says, love never fails. And friends, that's what we really shoot for every one of you guys. Marriage to be wonderful, happy, and truly blessed by Jehovah. Well, are we ready? I wished I had a glass of water, but I don't. We'll go ahead and go right into it, get you guys married. Well, Caleb, again, you guys, you don't look at me, you look at each other. Do you, Caleb Wayne Ransom, in the presence of Jehovah God and these witnesses, take Caitlin Elizabeth Keller to be your wedded wife, to love and to cherish, in accordance with divine law, as outlined in Holy Scriptures for Christian husbands, for as long as you both may live? Your answer?
I do.
All right. Okay. Do you, Caitlin Elizabeth Keller, in the presence of Jehovah God and these witnesses, take Caleb Wayne Ransom to be your wedded husband, to love and to cherish and deeply respect, in accordance with the divine law as outlined in the Holy Scriptures, for Christian husbands, for as long as you both may live? Your answer?
I do.
Very nice. And I guess this is where I say, who gives this woman to be married to this man? And that'd be her mother and I. So we'll go on and move forward to the marriage vows. All right, Caleb, we're going to start with you. I, Caleb Wayne Ransom,
I, Caleb Wayne Ransom,
take you, Caitlin Elizabeth Keller,
take you, Caitlin Elizabeth Keller,
to be my wedded wife,
to be my a wedded wife,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
in accordance
with
the divine law,
with the divine law,
as set forth
in
the Holy Scriptures
for Christian husbands,
for as long
as
we both shall live
we shall both live
together on earth,
just on earth,
according to God's marital arrangement. Very nice. All right, Caitlin. I, Caitlin Elizabeth Keller,
I, Caitlin Elizabeth Keller,
take you, Caleb Wayne Ransom,
take you, Caleb Wayne Ransom,
to be my wedded husband,
to be my wedded husband,
to love and to cherish,
and deeply respect,
in accordance with the divine law, as set forth in the Holy Scriptures, for Christian wives, for as long as we both shall live together on earth, according to God's marital arrangement. Is there rings to be exchanged? You guys can do that now. All right, very nice. For as much as Caleb Wayne Ransom and Caitlin Elizabeth Keller have covenanted before Jehovah God and these witnesses to accept each other in wedlock, I, as an ordained minister, and by the authority conferred upon me by the Holy Scriptures and the state of North Carolina, pronounce that they are husband and wife together. What God has yoked together, let no man put apart. I'd like to invite now Brother Jared Lee, if he would say a word of prayer, please. Thank you, Brother Lee. Well, would you like to kiss your new bride? And now may I introduce to you this marriage gathering, Brother and Sister Caleb Ransom. And if you'd like to remain on Zoom, we have a few special things planned. We'll have the first dance and also the first father and daughter dance. And following the dances, Caleb and Caitlin have prepared about a 25-minute, basically a video of their lives coming together. So we invite you to stay for